Hello and welcome to Pockenrop. This is part 2 of my review of 2021. If you've not yet watched part 1, then click the link to go and watch it now. In this video, I am going to run through my top 10 albums of the year. I will also be handing out a few more of my Pockenrop awards. So before I dive into that, I just remind you to like, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. But I'm going to dive straight into my top 10 with my 10th best album of the year, and it is What a Song Can Do by Lady A. This is a country album at its heart, and this may be influenced by the fact that this year my father, who was a country music lover, the only kind of music he really liked, passed away. And so I heard this album not long after that, and there's a particular track on there that's influenced me more than anything else, and it's Things He Handed Down. But it's more than just that. I really like the title track. And I think Friends Don't Let Friends is a really, really good country song. If you don't like country music, you almost certainly won't like What a Song Can Do by Lady A. But I think this is my 10th best album of the year. At number 9, it's a contender for one of the most anticipated albums of the year. It's Voyage by ABBA. And unlike the Adele album, see the previous video for that, this kind of met my expectations. So I've done a video both reviewing this and also ranking all of my ABBA albums and where I put this. I think this actually is starting to grow on me more. If you don't have time to listen to the whole of the album, then check out I Still Have Faith in You, Don't Shut Me Down, Just an Ocean, or Keep an Eye on Dan. But this is what ABBA do well, and they do it well on Voyage. It's my 9th best album of the year. At number 8, I have placed The Million Things That Never Happened by Billy Bragg. Now, Billy Bragg has always been a leftist protest singer, but this album is really fine. And actually, his voice is pretty decent. There's some great songs on here. There's some great playing. And I found myself enjoying this album more than I was expecting to. I'd recommend The Million Things That Never Happened, the title track. 10 Mysterious Photos is a great song. And then Freedom Doesn't Come for Free is a banging protest song about the alt-right in America. A really, really good song. Check it out. Billy Bragg's The Million Things That Never Happened. And number 7 is The Bridge by Sting. This completely hit me around the side of the head. I was not expecting to like this. I've made little secret amongst my friends of the fact that I think Sting is boring and has been ever since 10 Summoner's Tales. This is the best thing since 10 Summoner's Tales by a country mile. This is his voice sounds absolutely wonderful in it. There are unusual time signatures, which I know he's done in the past. The songwriting is beautifully lyrical, and I think this album, I'm gonna enjoy this album for a very long time, and that surprises me. I have dismissed so much of what Sting has done since 1991 that to then have something 30 years on that is as good as 10 Summoner's Tales really surprises me. If you haven't got time to check out the entire album, then I recommend the track Harmony Street. That's one of my nominees for the best track of the year. Rushing Water, If It's Love, which is probably his best pop single for a long time. Book of Numbers, Bells of St. Thomas. It's a really, really fine album. The Bridge by Sting. At number 6, I have placed Soberish by Liz Phair. Another album that I saw partway through the year on a best of so far and thought I'll give that a go. And this was a revelation. This is really good female singer-songwriting. The title track is great. Again, really good title track. Lonely Street is really fine. And then there's Dosage, which is in my nominated list of Song of the Year. I think Dosage is absolutely outstanding song. The whole album is just a real pleasure to listen to. And even the occasional expletive in here is delivered well and in context. And Soberish is a terrific album. It's my number 6. So it's time for a Pockenrop award or two. And this award is for the most surprising listen. There are 2 nominees. Billy Bragg for The Million Things That Never Happened, and Sting for The Bridge. And if you've been paying attention, it will come as no surprise that it's Sting. For a most surprising listen, it's got to make me want to go back and think, have I been missing something for years? I really, really like The Bridge, and I think I'm going to like it more as time goes by. The second Pockenrop award is for the best new find for me. So this is an artist that I wasn't aware of before. And all of the nominees in here, I'm interested to see what they're either going to do or what they've already done. But I haven't gone back into back catalogues yet because I've been listening to so much from 2021. I must have listened to over 50 albums from this year. The nominees are a new band called The Lathams. They released their debut this year. An artist called Dominic Fike. He recorded Kiss of Venus for the Three Imagined project, and it was a revelation. I'm interested to see what this guy might do. Arlo Parks and the album Collapsing Sunbeams. You'll see that mentioned in the previous video. Liz Phair. I'm intrigued to go back into her back catalogue and maybe find out what she's done prior to Soberish. And Eric Church, a country music artist that I'd not heard of before, but in the previous video I mentioned the album Soul. There was another album released this year as well, and he's got a good 15 years or so of back catalogue for me to explore. So the winner of the Pockenrop Award for Best New Find of the Year is not going to be revealed here because it will be a spoiler for my best album of the year. You'll find out in a few minutes. So returning to my top 15, I'm going to take you through from 5 down to 3. At number 5, I've placed Mac Powell's New Creation album. You may not know who Mac Powell is. He was the lead singer of a band called Third Day, which is probably my favourite Christian band. It's kind of southern rock, gospel with country inflections. And he has got one of my all-time favourite singing voices. I adore Mac Powell's singing voice, and this is a really, really fine album. Yes, it's a Christian album, but don't let that stop you. So tracks to check out on New Creation are the title track, 1991, which I think is probably the standout track on the whole album. It's one of the nominees for Best Track of the Year for me. Everlasting Arms is also really, really fine. I really like Mac Powell's voice, and this is my number 1 Christian album of the year. It just happens to also be my number 5 album of the year. At number 4, I have placed an album I know I'm getting for Christmas. It is Medicine at Midnight by the Foo Fighters. This is a terrific rock album. I really enjoyed every track on it. There wasn't a weak track on it. Check out the title track, Medicine at Midnight. Love Dies Young, which is the closing track of the album. Making a Fire. All 3 of those are great rock songs, and I think this is an album that I'm going to be enjoying for a long time. Medicine at Midnight by the Foo Fighters. At number 3, I placed an album that I was hotly anticipating from the moment I heard the lead-off single, Writing on the Wall. It is Senjutsu from Iron Maiden. This is their 17th album. It's a double CD or triple vinyl. 10 tracks. Several of them are over 10 minutes. But it's a really, really fine album. Tracks to check out are Writing on the Wall, which was a great first single, Stratego, which was a great second single, and the album closer, Hell on Earth, which is amongst the best epics they've ever written. This is a really, really good album from a band that's been going over 41 years. And it was a clever campaign as well beforehand. Senjutsu is good, is my number 3. On to my next Pockenrop Award category, and you'll see why I left it until now. It is Best Return. So for this category, the nominees need to have released nothing for a minimum period of 5 years. The nominees are Adele for 30, but more importantly, Go Easy on Me, the single that trailed it. ABBA for their first album in over 40 years. Iron Maiden for their first album in 6 years. Duran Duran for Future Past, their first album for 6 years. And Delamitri for their first album in over a decade. And the winner is, it has to be ABBA. To release an album 40 years on from their previous one, The Visitors, and it to still feel and sound like they used to, by and large, is an amazing achievement. And it can only be ABBA that wins the Pockenrop Award for the best return. And now to my top 2 of the year. And this was a real wrangle as to which album I was going to place at number 1, because I think they're both 5-star albums. Absolutely brilliant. I loved both of them to bits. I think they are both contenders for my top 50 albums of all time, let alone my top 100. But something had to come at number 2. Even now, I'm debating whether I've got it the wrong way around. And at number 2, I have placed Heart by Eric Church. This album totally blew me away. I heard Soul first and I liked it, and then I heard Heart and I realised just how much better Heart was than Soul. This is, again, it's a country album, but it's such a good record. Throughout, all 9 tracks are fantastic. Strictly speaking, Heart and Soul, coupled with a 6-track mini album called And, is one release by Eric Church. This means that it's effectively a 24-track album. However, you cannot buy Heart and Soul. You can buy Heart, you can buy Soul, and unless you're a member of his fan club, the Church Choir, you cannot get or hear And. So I've had to deal with them separately. And Heart is comfortably better than Soul. It's a fantastic album. Songs to check out from this are Heart of the Night, Russian Roulette, Stick That in Your Country Song, which is a great song. He didn't write this, but I think he is the only person who's recorded it. It's a superb song. Heart is a great American country rock album that I think I'll be listening to for years. I really, really like this. And I can't wait to hear what else Eric Church has done by dipping into his back catalogue. Really, really good. Heart is my number 2. And at number 1, and also the winner of my best new find of the year, it is the Lathams and their album, How Beautiful Life Can Be. So this was recommended to me by a colleague at work who said that it was one of the best things he'd heard this year. With a certain degree of skepticism, I put it on, and I've had to buy it. I want a vinyl copy of this, but I like it that much, I just had to get it on CD while I could. On an Amazon Black Friday deal, no less. This is a number 1 album in the UK, and the best compliment I can give it is that this sounds like the Smiths if the Smiths were happy. They're young lads of about 20, 21 years old, and this is joyful music. This is life-affirming music, and it's a great, great record. It is my 2021 album of the year by a slim margin from Eric Church. And I'm seriously hoping they're not going to fall foul of second album syndrome, because How Beautiful Life Can Be is beautiful. Recommended listens are the title track, How Beautiful Life Can Be, I'll Never Forget the Time I Spent With You, I See Your Ghost. The whole album is great songwriting. These are talented lads, and what are they going to do next? My number 1 of the year, the Lathams, How Beautiful Life Can Be. So all that remains is for me to reveal what I picked as my song of the year. If If you want a reminder of the nominees for this category, then in the description below is a link to the Spotify playlist so you can listen to them. In third place, I have placed Break It Kind of Guy by Eric Church from the album Soul. In second place, Easy on Me by Adele. And my winner for the Song of the Year is Let's Go Home Together by Ella Henderson and Tom Grennan. This is a great song. I didn't particularly much care for Tom Grennan's album, particularly as this was not actually on the original version of Evering Road. But Let's Go Home Together is just a really fun duet song. And the lyrics, I think, are so clever. So twice in the song, you think that they're going to use a swear word because of the way the rhyming scheme works, and they don't. Now, once would have been interesting, but the second time they do it is just, it's poking fun at the propensity of late for expletives in songs and all over people's albums. Let's Go Home Together is a great pop song. Check it out. Do listen to it because it brought me a huge amount of joy when I listened to it. So that concludes the video. This has been my review of 2021. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like the video, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Please let me know in the comments below what your album or albums of the year were. You've probably gained an idea over the last year or so of the kind of music I like. So why not make some recommendations of things that I haven't considered? If I have listened to it, I'll tell you what I thought of it in a reply in the comments. But until next time and next year, thanks for watching.